The conversion from log to anti-log, one thing which probably I missed out on was the conversion when a number has been given, when a negative number has been given, right? And actually these kind of questions might appear in some exams, and there you may get a little confused. So I thought I'll come up with a clarification video wherein I'll discuss these kind of examples. You would recall that we have discussed the conversion of a number to its log form and then back to the original number using the anti-logarithm, right? And then therein we said that the two parts that form the log form, one is the characteristic and the other one is mantissa, out of which the mantissa is always going to be a positive number. It's a fraction basically, but it is always a positive fraction. It cannot be negative. Characteristic can be positive as well as negative, right? Now, you would recall that this was one example that we had taken up in probably the first or the second session. Here we have found out the log of this value, which is 0.002786, and it is coming out to be 3 bar. I hope you remember that this particular thing here, it is basically called bar. Basically it is denoting the negative sign, right? And I hope you remember that why and how we are able to find this particular value and why we have put in a 3 bar here. You will recall that there are 2 zeros between the decimal and the first non-zero digit, so we have to add up 1, so basically it becomes 3, and that is why it will be 3 bar here. This is something that we have already discussed. What I am going to discuss today is the test which was conducted a few days ago. I found out that some of you are getting confused, so please understand that 3 bar 0.4449 is not, I repeat, it is not same as minus 3.4449. This is not same as this one, not same as this one. They two are not equivalents. Why? This is 3 bar and this is 3.4449, minus 3.4449, and this is 3 bar 0.449. Now the question that you might ask is, since 3 bar basically means a negative 3, so this is also minus 3 and this is also minus 3, so what is the difference? Please understand, I told you that the mantissa cannot be negative. It has to be positive, and that is why we have this system of bars, right? We have this use for bars while you are mentioning, while you are writing down the log of a particular number. Here 3 bar would mean that basically we are saying that this 3 only is negative. The rest is positive, and which is as per the rules also, the mantissa is always, it is always going to be positive. It cannot be negative. So 3 bar would mean that 3 is negative, the rest of the portion is positive. Is this fine? However, here it means that basically it is minus 3.449. What basically it means is the whole number is a negative number. Basically this portion is also negative and this portion is also negative. So there's a difference between the two. They are not equivalents. We'll take this discussion forward and you'll probably be able to understand what I'm trying to say. Now please understand, this is basically equal to this. As I said, 3 bar means minus 3, but the mantissa part, we have said that mantissa cannot be negative. The mantissa part is positive. Have a look at this positive sign. So this is minus 3, but this is positive, and that is why these two are different things, right? Here the whole number was basically a negative number, but here only 3 is a negative term, the remaining term is positive. Is this fine? And if I want to write down in this particular form, what will I do? I'll have to now add up minus 3 to plus 0.4449. So basically minus 3 would be added to 0.4449, and the answer that I'll get, you can do this calculation on your own also. Mentisa is always positive, and that is why I have mentioned it here. And when I do the calculation, minus 3 plus 0.4449, it becomes minus 2.5551, which means here, since the minus sign is here, it means that this portion is also minus and this portion is also minus. This is fine. Please remember this discussion that we are having today, because otherwise there might be questions like this and you might not be able to arrive at the correct solution, right? Now, what in essentially I'm saying is, see, 3 bar 0.4449 is not equal. This is something that we've understood. They are not equal, right? They are simply not equal. However, 3 bar 0.4449 is equal to minus 2.5551. Do you understand? Why? Here 3 bar means only 3 is a negative term. The remaining portion is positive. Here minus 2 is negative and the remaining portion is also positive. So this is what we have found out here. Minus 2.5551 is same as 3 bar 0.4449, and I have given you the whole methodology. Right? Now where can these kind of issues come up? This kind of issue may come up when you are asked to find the antilog of a negative number. You have been given this kind of a question, supposing. Here you have to find out the antilog of a negative number. Please understand, this is minus 2 means this is not 2 bar. It is not 2 bar. 2 bar would have given the question a very different meaning, but it is not 2 bar, and so there might be a problem. So whenever these kind of questions are there, please be very, very cautious. Why? Because this minus 2.5551 means this term is minus and this term is also minus. However, we have seen that the Mentisa can only be positive, and I cannot find out the value like this because what I have been given here is a negative Mentisa, which is just not possible in a way. So what will I do? I'll have to convert this into a positive term. Now this portion, because it cannot be negative, I'm okay with this. The characteristic can be negative, there's no problem with this. The problem is in this particular portion, since minus 2.5551 would mean characteristic is negative, okay, but the Mentisa would also seem like negative, but Mentisa cannot be negative. So basically what I'll be doing now is I'll convert this portion into a positive term. How will I do that? Let's have a look. What I'll do is minus 2.5551 plus I'll add 1 and then I'll subtract 1. So the net result will be 0. So I'm not doing basically anything. I'm first of all adding 1 and then I'm subtracting 1, so in a way there is no net addition or deletion, right? So the net impact is 0, so I have not made any changes as such. But please understand why I'm doing this. You'll understand in a little while from now. What I'll do next is I'll expand this term, and since it is minus, so this term will be minus and this term will also be minus, right? And then the same term here. Now what will I do? Right? I will add up the negative terms. So minus 2 is one negative term and minus 1 is one negative term. So there are two negative terms, and how do I add them up? They will be equal to minus 3. Is this fine? And what is now remaining? This portion is now remaining, right? Have a look at this particular portion which is remaining, and this is basically minus 0.5551 plus 1. So from 1 I have to basically subtract minus 0.5551, and that is why I have mentioned this in a bracket, so as to ensure that there is no confusion. So basically now this is 1 minus 0.5551, right? And now what will it become like? What will it look like? Minus 3 remains as it is. Then 1 minus 0.5551 becomes 0.4449. Is this okay? Now I have to basically find out the antilog of this term. However, here please understand this Mentisa is a positive term. It's not negative. So I'm okay with this. So now this basically becomes minus 3 plus 0.4449. This basically becomes what? I can write it down like this, 3 bar. See, you understand this point? 3 bar, because 3 bar would mean that only 3 is basically a negative term. So it is basically minus 3. The remaining portion is positive. So I can write it like this. Now for this kind of questions, I will have to basically convert this into this particular form, and the method is +1 - 1 method. And once you have done this and you have found out this particular kind of a value, you have converted it into this kind of a value where we have got a 3 bar 0.4449, which would mean 3 negative, however the remaining portion still positive. Then I can go ahead with finding out the antilog, right? Not before that. So whenever this kind of a question comes up, you have to find out antilog of a negative number which has not been mentioned as a bar. It has not been mentioned as a bar, please understand. If it is not mentioned as a bar, then you have to go for this particular methodology, convert this term into a positive term using this particular methodology, and once you have done that, then only proceed with finding the antilog value. Is this fine? Now I hope you would be able to remember this particular method, this particular process, and the logic behind the process. The logic was that mantissa cannot be negative, right? Characteristic can be positive as well as negative. So we do not have any problem with the characteristic, but the mantissa cannot be negative, and that's why we did all these calculations over here, right? So what would be your task? The task would be to go through this particular, now that you've gone through this particular video discussion, please practice these kind of questions and never forget that whenever you have to find out the antilog of a negative value, you have to convert the portion which is after the decimal into a positive term, right? And this is what we have done here, because our mantissa can only be positive. Is this making sense? Right. Now again, if you have to, there might be one more condition where you might have to use this particular method. If you have been given, you have to basically find out the value, the log value of a number, and you have to express it not in the bar form, not like this, but in as a negative term, or like this. Then also you will remember this particular formula, and this is what you'll have to do in these cases. This is fine. So I'm not expressing this as a bar term, but as a term in which the whole number is negative. So then again you'll have to do the same thing. Do let me know if you're not able to understand this, or if you find the discussions a little confusing, and I would be more than happy to solve your whatever doubts you still have. You can simply post a reply or post a comment on in the comment section on the YouTube video, and therein you can let me know as to what is it that you're finding difficult to follow, right? Thank you very much.